They called him the most feared man in the city. But one night, he followed his shy waitress home, and what he discovered left even him in tears. Thunder splits the sky above Raven's shade. The kind of thunder that shakes windows and makes car alarms scream. Rain hammers down in sheets, turning the streets into rivers, turning the night into something alive and hungry. Inside the Velvet Fork, the world is different. Crystal glasses sit untouched on mahogany tables. Candlelight flickers across expensive suits and silk ties. Politicians lean toward each other, whispering deals that will change neighborhoods. Power brokers nod slowly, sealing arrangements that cost more than most people make in a decade. The restaurant hums with the sound of money talking to itself. But nobody speaks above a whisper in the corner booth. Marcus sits 3 tables away, watching. Tony leans against the bar with his hand close to his jacket. Protocol demands distance. Protocol demands readiness. Protocol keeps everyone breathing. The man in the corner booth doesn't move much. His name is Lorenzo Calvetti. His fingers hold a tumbler of scotch he hasn't touched in 40 minutes. His eyes sweep the room like a security camera on a loop, cataloging, measuring, calculating. A man doesn't survive 30 years in this world by missing details. His black suit sits perfectly still on his frame. Silver cufflinks catch the candlelight. Under his open collar, tattoos spread across his chest like a map. Territory marked, wars won, bodies buried. Those markings aren't decoration. They're documentation. Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. The kitchen door swings open. She walks out carrying a tray, and something in the universe pauses. Not because she's beautiful. She isn't. Not in the way the expensive women in this restaurant are beautiful. Her uniform hangs loose on a frame that's carrying less weight than it should. Her gray apron is stained with something she tried to clean, but couldn't quite get out. Dark hair escapes her bun in loose threads like she's been running her fingers through it all shift. The dark circles under her eyes tell stories about sleepless nights, about worry, about things that won't stop hurting. Her name tag says Delilah. She moves through the restaurant like she's trying to be invisible, shoulders hunched forward, eyes down, each step measured to draw no attention. The other waiters glide. She navigates like a ghost who still remembers being solid. When her hands tremble, setting down a plate of salmon for a senator, Lorenzo sees the tremor travel from her fingertips all the way up her wrist. Not fear of the senator, not that kind of tremor. Something deeper, something older. She approaches his booth. The silver tray carries 2 glasses of water and warm bread. She's been trained to serve him without speaking, without making eye contact, without disturbing the particular silence that surrounds him like a force field. Her hand reaches out. The water glass slips. It tumbles in slow motion and fast motion all at once. The glass hits the white tablecloth and shatters. Water spreads across the linen like an accident nobody can take back. Delilah's entire body goes rigid. Color drains from her face like someone pulled a plug. Marcus moves. Tony moves. Hands reach for jackets. The restaurant holds its breath. "Stop," Lorenzo says. His voice barely carries, but the word lands like a stone dropped in still water. Everyone freezes. Delilah stares at the spilled water like it's her own life leaking away. Her breathing comes in short gasps. Actual tears form at the corners of her eyes. "I'm sorry, sir. I'm so sorry. Her voice cracks on the apology. Lorenzo looks at her. Really looks. Not the way he catalogs threats or measures weakness. Something different happens. Something deeper. "Leave it," he says to the other staff. "All of you. Now." They scatter like birds from a gunshot. The restaurant seems to exhale when they go. Delilah reaches for napkins with shaking hands. Her eyes never rise to meet his. Her lips keep repeating the apology over and over, connected to nothing, just the sound her body keeps making. "Your hands," Lorenzo says quietly. She stops moving. They're shaking. She pulls back, tucking both hands into her apron pocket. "It won't happen again, sir. I promise." But as she turns to leave, Lorenzo catches something. A movement so small most people would miss it. Her fingers slide 2 dinner rolls from a serving tray into her apron pocket. A slow, careful motion. The motion of someone used to not being seen. Not greed. Hunger. His chest does something it hasn't done in 20 years. He watches her disappear into the kitchen. Rain continues hammering the windows. The other diners have already forgotten the moment. But Lorenzo Calvetti doesn't forget anything. He touches his untouched scotch and thinks about those 2 rolls he's sliding into her pocket. He thinks about hands that shake for reasons that have nothing to do with him. And he makes a decision that will unravel everything. If you were Lorenzo, would you have let go? Tell us in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. She comes back the next night. Lorenzo is already in his corner booth when Delilah arrives for her shift. He watches her punch in on the system, watches her exchange her coat for her apron. She moves through these motions like they're rituals that keep her from disappearing. Over the next week, he returns every evening at precisely 9 o'clock. He doesn't conduct business. He doesn't meet with his captains or his lawyers. He sits and he waits for her shift to begin. Delilah works 3 tables in his section. She's always aware of him. Her shoulders tense, her jaw tight, but she never looks directly at him. Lorenzo has spent 30 years reading what people don't say, understanding the language of fear and space and silence. With her, it's different. Her shoes are splitting at the seams. The leather peels back like the shoes are tired of holding together. She wears the same 2 uniforms on rotation. He can tell by the way the fabric frays differently on each one. The left sleeve is coming apart at the cuff. The right has a stain that won't come out no matter how many times she washes it. Her nails are cracked and raw. Something chemical has done damage. Bleach maybe, or industrial soap. There's a pale line around her left ring finger where a wedding band used to sit. Not recent. The skin has already healed over the mark. Thursday night, he watches her eat. It's after her shift, in the staff break room that she thinks is empty. She microwaves a container of rice that costs 99 cents. No seasoning, no sauce, just rice and water. She eats standing up, staring at nothing, each bite mechanical. A machine consuming fuel to keep running. When she thinks nobody is watching, her jaw clenches tight. Her eyes close. Her free hand grips the edge of the counter until her knuckles turn white. She's holding on to something that's trying to leave. Friday, she brings her own food in a plastic bag that's been reused so many times the handles are about to tear. A sandwich on the cheapest bread, wrapped in paper towels because she can't afford plastic bags. An apple, small and starting to wrinkle at the edges. Half a bottle of water refilled from the tap. That's everything. That's lunch for an 8-hour shift. Lorenzo watches the other waiters. The ones with family money, the ones taking shifts between college semesters. They throw away half their meals. They complain about the restaurant not serving good bread. They go home to apartments with furniture and heat and electricity that stays on all night. Saturday, something shifts. Delilah arrives wearing a sweater that doesn't match her uniform. She's sick, coughing, her eyes streaming with tears, her nose red. But she works her entire shift anyway without complaining. At one point, she leans against the kitchen door and her entire body shakes with a cough that sounds like something breaking inside her chest. The manager, a man named Derek with the sensitivity of concrete, tells her to keep the coughing away from the tables. Customers will think we're unhygienic, he says loudly, making sure other staff hears his authority, making sure they know he has power. Delilah nods, doesn't argue. When the next cough comes, she turns her face away and stuffs her fist in her mouth to muffle the sound. Lorenzo's hands clench into fists under the table. It's a small cruelty, the kind that happens a million times a day in restaurants and offices and stores. Nothing compared to the violence Lorenzo has orchestrated. Nothing compared to the bodies he's responsible for. Nothing that should register on any scale of human suffering. But it does. She reminds him of someone. A kid. The kid ate garbage from behind restaurants because his parents spent rent money on something else. Something that made them numb. That kid coughed like this too, soundless, so people wouldn't hear him, wouldn't see him, wouldn't remember him. The kid died at 17. Lorenzo touches his water glass, but doesn't drink. He watches Delilah disappear into the kitchen. She doesn't take a break. She doesn't eat. She just keeps moving through the restaurant like she's underwater, pushing against an invisible weight. When she finally leaves at the end of her shift, Lorenzo marks the time, 11:47 p.m. He marks the way she huddles into her jacket against the October cold, how she walks fast, but not so fast that she'd draw attention, how her eyes scan the parking lot before stepping into it, a predator's awareness in a prey's body, how she carries herself like she's used to being hunted. Tomorrow, he thinks, tomorrow night, he's going to follow her. Who do you think she is? What's her real story? Comment below and let us know your theory. Rain returns to Raven Shade when darkness falls. Not the delicate rain of Thursday evening. The heavy downpour that doesn't apologize. The kind that turns streets into rivers and makes the city slick and dangerous. The kind that makes people hurry. Delilah steps out of the restaurant at 11:52 p.m. Her jacket is inadequate, thin, worn, probably from a thrift store. She pulls it tight around herself and begins walking fast. Lorenzo hasn't planned this, or he has plans so deep and automatic that he doesn't recognize them as plans anymore. His driver, Falcon, already has the car running. The engine purrs. The streets are nearly empty now. Just the die-hard night shift and the people who can't sleep and the people who have nowhere else to go. Follow her, Lorenzo says quietly. Keep distance. Don't let her see the headlights. The car stays 3 lengths back, moving through the rain like a hunter that knows the prey doesn't know it's being hunted. Delilah walks for 8 blocks, then 10, then 15. She passes the downtown district where restaurants are still glowing, where tourists take pictures of the artistic poverty in this neighborhood. She passes the buildings getting renovated, the ones that will eventually push out people like her. She walks deeper into the parts of Ravenshade that don't appear on tourist maps. The streets crack and crumble. Streetlights become fewer, then broken, then absent. The rain sounds louder here because there's nothing to absorb it. The wet pavement reflects the city's rot, the decay, the forgetting. Stop the car, Lorenzo says. He steps out into the rain. He's forgotten how it feels. Real rain, not the rain that falls on penthouses or falls on expensive cars, but the rain that touches concrete and skin equally. The rain doesn't know the difference between him and everyone else. It falls on everyone the same. Delilah turns down an alley. Lorenzo follows, hands in his pockets, coat collar up. The rain beads on his expensive fabric, but doesn't penetrate. Everything about him is engineered to repel the world. She reaches a building that should have been condemned in 1987. Paint peels like skin from a burn victim. Windows are boarded or shattered. The front door hangs partially open. Its lock destroyed by time or necessity, or people desperate enough to make their own way inside. She disappears through that door. Lorenzo waits in the shadow of a recessed doorway across the street. The rain drums against his shoulders. His breath fogs in the cold. He counts his heartbeats the way he used to count seconds before giving orders. 1, 2, 3. A light appears in one of the upper windows. Weak. A candle, maybe, or a small flashlight. The glow is fragile against the darkness. Almost apologetic, he crosses the street. The building smells like mold and human waste and something else, the particular smell of spaces where people live without hope. His expensive shoes find broken glass, a syringe cap, the debris of lives intersecting with addiction. He climbs the stairs carefully. Decades of training and surveillance keep his footsteps quiet. Each step finds a solid part of the stair. He doesn't breathe loudly. He doesn't announce himself. The light is coming from apartment 3B. Through the cracked window, barely opening, he sees her. Delilah kneels beside a small bed. The kind that costs $19 at a discount store. The kind that will collapse when the child becomes too tall for it, which is coming soon based on the shape beneath the thin blanket. A boy, no older than 6. His skin is pale in a way that means hospital visits. His breathing is shallow, each inhalation a small struggle. His chest barely rises and falls. His eyes stay closed. A SpongeBob blanket covers him, worn soft from washing, thin from age. Delilah's hand brushes his hair back from his forehead with a tenderness that makes Lorenzo's jaw tighten. "It's okay, baby," she whispers. "It's okay. Mama's here." The boy doesn't stir, doesn't wake up. She reaches in her apron pocket and pulls out the bread rolls she saved from the restaurant. Using water from a bottle beside the bed, she softens them. She places one on the pillow beside his head where he might find it when he wakes. The other she sets on the nightstand beside medication bottles. The label reads, "Cardiac medication. Do not miss doses." She sits on the edge of the bed and her shoulders begin to shake. Not loud, silent. The kind of crying that women do when they're used to not being heard. When they're used to carrying everything alone. When the weight finally becomes too heavy to hold. Lorenzo's hand presses against the wall. He has ordered men killed for less. He has destroyed families. He has erased lives. He has rewritten futures. He has felt nothing, or he has felt only the cold satisfaction of power executed. But this, a woman saving bread for her dying brother because it's all she has to give. This breaks something in him that he didn't know was still breakable. He turned away. He walks back down the stairs. He steps into the rain. And for the first time in 20 years, Lorenzo Calvetti's face is wet with something besides rain. This is where the story changes everything. Drop your reactions in the comments right now. Morning arrives cold and gray. Lorenzo doesn't go to his office. His captains wait in conference rooms that smell like expensive coffee and the particular anxiety of soldiers waiting for orders. His lawyers send messages. A shipment arrives at the docks that requires his authorization. The entire machinery of his empire waits for him to turn the key. Instead, he sits in his penthouse overlooking Ravenshade. The city spreads below him like a game board somebody designed a long time ago and never bothered to fix. He can see the restaurant from here, 3 blocks away. He can see the alley where he followed her. He can see nothing of the apartment where the boy lies breathing shallow breaths. That's the cruelty of his height. Everything and nothing all at once. His hands hold a tumbler of scotch. The alcohol is older than the boy in the bed. It costs more than Delilah makes in a month. He has a closet full of clothing she will never own in her entire life. His penthouse requires more electricity than her entire building uses in a year. He takes a sip. It tastes like nothing. His phone rings. Marcus on the line. "Boss, we need you." The Vietnamese shipment is. Lorenzo ends a call. He doesn't throw the phone, doesn't curse. He simply ends it. The silence that follows is louder than any conversation. He pulls out his personal computer, the one only he uses, the one that connects to resources that don't exist on paper. He enters a name, Delilah, then another name, the boy, age 6. His algorithm finds them in seconds. Every detail, every tragedy, quantified and indexed and made searchable. Medical records, death certificates, hospital bills, eviction notices, the nursing school transcripts from 5 years ago, top grades that led nowhere, the father's illness, the medical debt that spiraled into everything else, the mother who disappeared 2 years ago, no forwarding address, no contact information, just a void where a person used to be, all of her suffering available on a screen. The care facility the boy needs costs $40,000. The medications cost $3,000 every month. The surgeries that keep him barely alive cost $70,000 each. He needs them every 2 years as he grows. She makes $9 an hour. She works 3 jobs. Even her mathematics are tragic. The scotch finally tastes like something. Rage. Shame. The particular flavor of power that realizes its own uselessness. Lorenzo pulls out another phone. One his men don't have numbers for. One that can't be traced. He calls a contact at Riverside Medical Center. "I need you to do something," he says quietly. A boy, age 6, cardiac condition. He needs treatment. The best treatment. Everything he needs. The voice on the other end hesitates. "We need insurance, authorization, proof of..." "You need to do this," Lorenzo says. "And you need to do it quietly. The bills will be covered. All of them. Every expense. But no one asks questions. No one calls the mother. No one writes down my name. You understand me." There's a long pause. "Yes, Mr. Calvetti." He hangs up. The rain has stopped outside. The city is washing itself clean in the way that cities do, indifferent to what gets washed away. Delilah is probably working now. The boy is probably sleeping. The bread beside his pillow is probably untouched. Somewhere in this city, a woman is killing herself trying to save one life. And somewhere else in this city, a man who has taken countless lives is learning what it means to give one back. Lorenzo walks to the window. Rain begins again, softer now, almost tentative, almost like it's asking for permission. His phone buzzes. A message from Chun, his investigator, full background compiled, ready for briefing. Lorenzo closes his eyes. Everything is about to change. He's about to discover her entire life. What do you think he'll find? Tell us in the comments below and share this with someone who needs to see it. 7 days pass like water through desperate hands. Lorenzo's organization continues without him. His captains learn to make decisions and live with the consequences. Money moves. Shipments arrive. Territories hold. The machine functions because it was built to work independent of any single person, no matter how feared. Chun delivers the full report to Lorenzo's penthouse at midnight. Delilah's father died 4 years ago from infection that antibiotics could have prevented. Antibiotics cost money that the family spent on keeping the boy alive instead. Her mother currently works in Nevada as a casino housekeeper. She maintains distance from her children as if proximity might trigger memories of her failure. The boy was diagnosed before birth with tetralogy of Fallot. He was given until age 12 if the surgeries go perfectly. The surgeries have gone perfectly so far. Delilah's choices reduce to their mathematical impossibility. Work job 1, miss medical appointments, the boy dies. Work job 2, miss the first job, get fired, lose apartment. Work job 3, maintain both, slowly become the thing that dies instead. Worn down, exhausted, sick, disappeared. There's no winning position. There are only speeds at which she's losing. The care facility costs $40,000. Medications cost $3,000 monthly. Surgeries cost $70,000 each, and he needs them every 2 years. She makes $9 an hour across 3 jobs. Even if she worked every hour available in a month, she comes up short by $50,000. She's trying to fill an ocean with a teaspoon. Lorenzo reads all of this while sitting in the chair where he's made decisions that shaped lives and cities. And he feels something he never thought possible: powerless. He can threaten anyone. He can destroy anyone. He can make anyone disappear. But he cannot make money appear in the right places fast enough. He cannot make the system see her. He cannot buy his way into fixing what the world has broken through its own indifference. He can only work around the edges. That night, he transfers funds through offshore accounts to a clinic his organization has used before for discreet medical treatment. He creates a trust fund under a false name and backdates the paperwork. He arranges for medication to be delivered to an address across town, written off as insurance compensation. He builds an invisible scaffolding beneath her life, a net she'll never know exists. When it catches her, she'll think it's luck. The next morning, Lorenzo returns to the Velvet Fork. She's there, of course, moving through the restaurant like a specter that remembers being solid. Her wrist has a new bruise, dark purple turning green at the edges. Someone grabbed her. Someone hurt her. Someone decided that because she has nothing, they can take what little remains. His hands want to become fists. He watches her work. He sees her shoulders drop slightly when she reaches for a tray of empty glasses. The medication is already starting to work. He can see it. The trust fund is already making a difference. He has already changed something, but it's not enough. And he knows it will never be enough. Because what she really needs, what everyone like her needs, is a world that was never designed to break them in the first place. She moves through the dining room with the medication already beginning to improve her brother's condition, and Lorenzo makes a decision that will unravel his entire life. He's going to save her, not because it's moral, not because it's justice, but because power is nothing if it can't pull someone back from drowning. This is where Lorenzo becomes something else entirely. Who do you think he really is? Drop your theories now, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Tuesday night hits like a closed fist. Delilah leaves the restaurant through the back exit at 11:49 p.m. Her hands are shaking. They've been shaking all shift. She carries grocery bags filled with things she bought at the discount store 2 blocks away. Discounted vegetables, day-old bread, things that are still good, but nobody else wanted them. She walks toward the bus stop. The street is empty except for the rain and the sound of her own footsteps on wet concrete. Then he steps out from behind a parked car. But scarred. A cigarette hanging from his mouth like it's permanently grafted there. His shirt is stained with alcohol. His hands shake with an addiction that's had years to develop. When he smiles, his teeth are the color of old bone. His name is Marcus, but not the Marcus who works for Lorenzo. This Marcus works for someone who works for someone else. That's the hierarchy of predators. The bigger ones let the smaller ones feed as long as they bring back tribute. "Hey, sweetheart," he says, and the word is a threat wrapped in fabric. He grabs her wrist, the one already bruised from a previous debt collector, a previous meeting with the world's hunger. Delilah tries to pull away, but his grip is a python. His grip is the future closing in. "Where's my money?" His breath is acid and cigarettes, and the particular smell of someone who's been sleeping in his clothes for 3 days. "Boss says you're behind." "Way behind." I just need a few more days." Delilah's voice cracks. "Please, my brother is sick. I just need." "No more days," he says. "No more excuses. See, I'm thinking maybe you pay me another way tonight. I'm thinking maybe you and me have a different kind of conversation. Somewhere private." His other hand reaches toward her shoulder. That's when the rain stops. Not really. The rain keeps falling. But something in the universe stops moving forward. A man steps out from the opposite end of the street. Black suit, open collar, tattoos visible on his chest, even in the darkness. In the dim streetlight, something in his body language reads as death. Lorenzo Calvetti. The debt collector's face empties of every color it ever had. "Mr. Calvetti, I didn't know she was." "Touch her again," Lorenzo says, and his voice is the voice of someone who has ended conversations with far less provocation. "And I will break every bone in your body. Then I will break them again." It's not a threat. It's a statement of fact. It's the kind of calm certainty that comes from having backed up the words with corpses, with disappearances, with people who stopped existing because Lorenzo decided they should. The debt collector releases Delilah's wrist. Lorenzo steps closer. His hand moves toward the man's face. It's a simple gesture, but what it promises is comprehensive violence. He leans in and whispers something that only the collector hears. His voice is quiet, controlled, the most dangerous voice in the entire city. The man runs. He doesn't walk. He doesn't hesitate. He runs like the devil is actually chasing him, which from his perspective is accurate. Delilah stands alone in the rain with Lorenzo Calvetti. Her breathing comes in sharp gasps. Her entire body is shaking. Tears form at the corners of her eyes, but not from sadness. From the shock of being saved when you've only ever known how to be hurt. "Why?" she starts, but the word breaks before it finishes. "You're under my protection," he says simply. "No one touches you. No one takes from you. You exist in a space I've created. You're safe. I don't understand. I'm nobody. I'm just a waitress." "Why would you?" "You're not nobody," he says, and something in his voice is ancient. "You're just invisible." He hands her a card. Expensive cardstock. Understated lettering. A clinic's name, an address, and a phone number that connects to resources most people can't access. "Tomorrow," he says, "take your brother to this clinic. Tell them I sent you. Tell them to give him the best treatment available. Money isn't an object." She looks at the card. Her hands are shaking so badly she can barely hold it. "Who are you?" she whispers. He turns and walks away into the rain. The darkness accepts him back into itself. Within seconds, he's indistinguishable from the night. Just another shadow. Just water falling. Delilah stands alone on the wet street, holding a card that feels like it weighs everything. Her phone buzzes in her pocket. She pulls it out. A text message from Riverside Medical Center. Eli's surgery has been approved and scheduled for tomorrow at 8 a.m. All costs have been covered by a private donor. bring your identification and current medications. He just saved her life, and she doesn't even know his name. If you think you know what happens next, tell us in the comments. Subscribe now and turn on those notifications so you don't miss the moment everything changes. Weeks collapse into time like sand through desperate fingers. Eli's first surgery succeeds. The second one reveals they can do more than they originally believed was possible. The third surgery shifts the entire mathematics of his life. Instead of managing a death, they're building a future. A real future. The kind that includes getting older, getting taller, becoming a person instead of a diagnosis. Delilah stops appearing at work with bruises on her wrists. She stops coughing through her shifts. She stops eating only half meals during her break. She stops working 3 jobs. She stops disappearing from exhaustion. She's still the quiet waitress. She's still the one who keeps her eyes down. She's still careful and measured with every movement. But something has shifted. Her shoulders carry less weight. Her hands don't shake when she pours coffee. Her face, when she thinks nobody's watching, shows something that might be hope. She still works at the Velvet Fork. She still takes the bus home through neighborhoods that don't love her. She still carries grocery bags and counts her money and does the mathematics of survival. But the weight she carries is different now. It's temporary. It's survivable. Lorenzo stops attending his corner booth. Instead, he walks those poor streets at night. His driver stays 3 blocks behind. His guards are invisible. He has a colleague distribute food to the homeless sleeping in alleyways. He funds a clinic that serves people who can't afford names on paperwork. He creates jobs that don't require credit checks or previous addresses or references from people who used to matter. His organization notices the changes. His captains whisper about their boss becoming soft. His lawyers question the charitable foundations that are hemorrhaging money. His associates wonder if age is finally catching up with him, if decades of violence are finally breaking something inside. He tells them nothing. What they don't understand is that Lorenzo isn't becoming soft. He's becoming honest. For the first time in 30 years, his power is aligning with something true. Every dollar he distributes feels more substantial than every territory he's conquered. Every life he helps feels more real than every body that disappeared on his orders. One night, he stands outside Riverside Medical Center watching the windows. Inside, Eli is in physical therapy. The boy is walking without difficulty. He's laughing with a therapist. He's becoming the boy he might have been if the world had distributed its cruelty more evenly, if luck had treated his family differently. A nurse walks past Lorenzo in the hallway. She does a double take. Recognition hits her face first, then fear, then the particular expression of someone who knows Lorenzo Calvetti's reputation, who knows what he's capable of, who knows that men like him don't usually appear in hospitals unless someone is about to stop breathing. He holds up his hand. "I'm just visiting," he says quietly. She hurries past anyway. Lorenzo finds a bathroom and locks himself inside. He leans against the sink and feels his chest move up and down. When did breathing become significant enough to notice? When did staying alive become an act of will instead of reflex? He looks in the mirror. For the first time in 30 years, he recognizes himself. Not the killer, not the boss, not the man that cities whisper about in dark parking lots, not the person who has made more widows than he can count. Just a man, older, tired, and for the first time, not empty. That's when he hears the conversation through the bathroom door. 2 nurses passing in the hallway. That little boy in 3C, Eli, he's gonna make it. His sister said someone like a guardian angel paid for everything. She doesn't know who, but she prays for him every night. Lorenzo's hand presses against his mouth. A guardian angel. He's never heard himself described in terms that implied divinity before. It's almost funny, almost tragic, almost true. He leaves the bathroom and walks past the nurses like he's always been there. Like he belongs in this place. Like being confused for something holy is a normal Tuesday night. He's never been called an angel before. What do you think happens when she finally discovers the truth about who saved her? Comment below and tell us. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the moment of truth. The restaurant manager, Derek, learns about Delilah's hospital visits. She's been leaving early, taking breaks during her shifts, missing scheduled hours. In the economy of his ego, this is equivalent to theft. In his mind, her brother's survival is less important than his profit margin. He doesn't say it out loud, but everyone at the Velvet Fork understands the calculus he's running in his head. He fires her on a Tuesday morning before her shift begins. "We need reliability," he says, and the word tastes clean in his mouth like he's just done something righteous. "We need people who commit to their positions. This isn't personal, it's just business." But everything about the world is personal for people like Delilah. Everything is consequence. Everything is how you eat or don't eat, how you survive or don't survive. She leaves the restaurant with a severance check that amounts to approximately nothing in the mathematics of actual survival. 2 weeks of pay, $144. That's what her job was worth to Derek when he was done with her. Lorenzo hears about it the same day. His people report everything. The city is his informant, speaking in a language of movements and employment and consequence. He arrives at the restaurant at 9 a.m. Derek is preparing for the lunch crowd, arranging table settings, performing the function of management that amounts to pushing disorder into slightly more orderly shapes. He looks up from a table, and his entire face shifts when he recognizes Lorenzo walking through the door. "Mr. Calvetti," Derek says, and his voice cracks on the name. "Welcome. Your booth is ready. Can I?" Lorenzo walks past him. Not a glance, not a word, just a man moving through space toward a destination. He walks directly to Derek's office and enters without knocking. The door closes behind him with a soft click that sounds final. Derek follows, confused, terrified, trying to assemble an expression that isn't panic. Lorenzo sits at Derek's desk. He opens his briefcase. What comes out is cash. Not a check, not a wire transfer. Physical money. $800,000 in sequential bills, organized and neat and impossible to ignore. He places it on the desk. Derek's face goes white. His hand starts shaking. He thinks this is a threat, which it is. Everything Lorenzo does is a threat when he chooses it to be. "You're going to do something for me," Lorenzo says quietly, and his voice is the voice of someone used to being obeyed. "You're going to reopen this restaurant. Not under your name, under hers, Delilah. You're going to make her the owner on paper, and you're going to give her a percentage of earnings that will allow her to actually survive. Not just barely. Survive. You understand the difference." Derek's mouth opens and closes. He's trying to form words. English is probably not available to him right now. "Do you understand me?" Lorenzo leans forward. His hand moves toward a stack of cash and pulls back. It's a subtle gesture, but what it promises is comprehensive change in Derek's life. Not death. That's too simple, too quick, but erasure. "I'm not asking. I'm instructing. You have 1 week. After that week, if she doesn't have ownership papers and a functioning income, I'm going to erase you. Not kill you. Killing is simple. I'm going to make your life complicated in ways that make you wish for the simplicity of death. I'm going to make every bank account mysteriously empty. I'm going to make every person you owe money to suddenly find you. I'm going to make your existence into a problem that you can't solve." Derek nods. He's nodding so hard his head might detach from his neck. Lorenzo stands. He leaves the cash on the desk. 1 week, he says. After that, you disappear. You become invisible. You stop existing in this restaurant, and you stop existing in this city. You understand? "Yes," Derek whispers. "Yes, sir. I understand." Lorenzo leaves without another word. The cash stays on the desk. $800,000. More money than Derek makes in 5 years. The price of his cooperation. The price of Delilah's life-changing direction. He just changed her entire future with a single decision. What do you think will happen when she finds out who really owns the restaurant? Tell us in the comments below. Subscribe now and turn on those notifications because the final chapters are about to break your heart in the best way possible. 1 month passes like a door closing. Delilah receives a call about a job opportunity. Not just employment, ownership, legal papers with her name on them. A restaurant that will be hers. An income that will actually sustain her and Eli. A future that isn't just survival anymore. She doesn't understand how this is possible. The universe doesn't work this way for people like her. The universe has never worked this way for her. But she accepts. She signs the papers. She becomes the owner of the Velvet Fork. She becomes a person who has something instead of a person who is always losing. 1 month after that, she walks out of Riverside Medical Center with Eli's hand in hers. Her brother is released. His recovery is complete. His prognosis has shifted from managed decline to actual life. He can run. He can play. He could be the 6-year-old boy he was supposed to be all along. The doctors told her that 3 years ago, this would have been impossible. 5 years ago, he wouldn't have made it to his 7th birthday. But the surgeries worked. The medication worked. The invisible scaffolding that Lorenzo built beneath his life worked. The evening is perfect in the way that only earned perfection can be. Cool, bright. The kind of October night that feels like redemption wearing weather. The kind of night that makes you believe the world is capable of being good. Can we get ice cream, Delilah? Eli asks, and it's the first time he's asked for something without hedging it with guilt, without wondering if they can afford it, without understanding that every pleasure costs something that they don't have. Of course, baby, whatever you want. They walk through the downtown district. The city is different now for her. The streets don't feel hostile. The people don't feel like potential threats. The world has shifted into something survivable, into something that might even have possibilities. They get ice cream at a small shop. She buys him chocolate with sprinkles. She gets vanilla because she still doesn't feel like she deserves flavor, even now, even after everything that's changed. Afterward, they walk through the park. Eli runs ahead, chasing paper boats down a stream, his laughter echoing off the water like bells, like something being celebrated instead of mourned, like a child who doesn't carry the weight of his own survival on his shoulders. Delilah sits on a bench and she cries, not from sadness, from the particular relief that comes when a burden you've been carrying so long that you forgot what your shoulders felt like without it suddenly becomes light, bearable, temporary instead of permanent. She looks up at the sky. The stars are visible tonight, a rare thing in this city of lights and industry, a rare thing in a city that usually hides beauty behind its own noise. Thank you, she whispers. She doesn't know who she's talking to. God, luck, fate, the universe operating through the hands of man she's never really known. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for saving him. Thank you for letting me save him. Thank you for... Her voice breaks. She's not used to gratitude reaching her. It feels foreign. It feels like speaking in a language she learned but never thought she'd use in conversation that actually mattered. Across the park, hidden in shadow, Lorenzo stands with his hands in his pockets. He watches the boy laugh. He watches the woman cry. He watches the moment she looks up at the sky and he sees her face fully. Released, redeemed, remembered, brought back from the edge of erasure. His own tears fall silently, not from guilt anymore. He's moved past guilt. He's moved past the need to justify or explain what he's done. From something cleaner, something true, peace. This moment right here is where everything comes together. This is where power meets grace. What did you think when you realized what he had done? Tell us in the comments below. Subscribe and turn on those notifications because Chapter 10 is the conclusion that will leave you speechless. The rain returns one final time, washing the city clean. Not violent, not angry, gentle, like the world is trying to start over. Like everything that was broken is finally getting a chance to heal. Lorenzo walks through the streets alone. His driver waits 3 blocks back. His guards are invisible. He exists in the particular solitude that comes when you step outside the role you've been playing for 30 years. The role of the fear man, the role of the killer, the role of the person that cities whisper about in dark parking lots and private conversations. He walks past a restaurant that now has Delilah's name on the window, the Delilah Fork. He can see her inside, talking with a new manager, pointing to something on the wall, making decisions about her own business, her own future, her own life. He keeps walking. The streets get narrower. The buildings get older. He reaches the neighborhood where he followed her that first night. The alley, the building, the window where he saw the candlelight and witnessed a woman saving bread for her dying brother. He stands there for a long time, just standing, just remembering, just understanding what it means to see someone the way he saw her, as a human being instead of a problem to solve or a person to control. His phone buzzes. A message from one of his captains. "Boss, the operation needs your decision. The territory is being challenged. We need your orders." He deletes the message without responding. He pulls up a photo on his phone. Delilah and Eli from the hospital. She's smiling. He's laughing. They look like people who belong to the world instead of people the world forgot. He deletes his fingerprint from the phone. He throws the phone into a storm drain. The water takes it. The city takes it. It disappears the way that all the violence he's committed will eventually disappear. Not forgiven, not forgotten by the people who suffered, but eventually worn away by time, replaced by other stories, other pain, other people trying to survive. He walks back toward his car. Falcon is waiting, his driver of 15 years, a man who has driven Lorenzo to locations where orders were carried out, where violence was administered, where power was exercised with consequences that would ripple through families for generations. "Take me to the airport," Lorenzo says. Falcon hesitates. "The organization." "Take me to the airport," Lorenzo repeats. "After that, you're done with me. You find yourself a new employer, someone who still wants to be who I used to be. You understand?" "Yes, sir." The drive is quiet except for the sound of rain and tires on wet streets. At the airport, Lorenzo steps out of the car and leaves everything behind. The money, the power, the fear he's cultivated, the control he's exercised over this city for 3 decades. He keeps only one thing, the memory of a woman's face when she understood that someone saw her. Someone saved her. Someone realized that the only thing worth doing with power is giving it away to people who don't have any. He boards a plane to nowhere in particular. As he sits by the window, watching Ravenshade disappear below the clouds, he thinks about the boy who died at 17 eating garbage behind restaurants. He thinks about the orphan who became a killer because nobody saw him either. He thinks about all the years he spent trying to be feared instead of trying to be good. And for the first time in 30 years, he understands that redemption isn't about erasing what you've done. It's about becoming someone different than the person who did it. It's about choosing to see people instead of choosing to use them. It's about power recognizing its own smallness and choosing to make room for something bigger. Delilah will never know his name. She'll never understand that the man in the corner booth of a restaurant was the man who followed her through the rain. She'll never comprehend the journey that a feared Mafia boss took to become someone capable of saving a life without expecting recognition. But every day, she'll feel the weight of his gift. Every time Eli laughs, every time she walks into the restaurant that has her name on the window, every time she realizes that her survival is no longer uncertain, she'll feel it. And somewhere, on a plane flying away from everything he used to be, Lorenzo Calvetti feels it too. The weight of redemption, the lightness of becoming human, the peace that comes when power finally meets compassion. 5 years later, Delilah stands in the kitchen of the Delilah Fork during morning setup. The restaurant has expanded. There's a second location now across town in the neighborhood where she used to live, where people used to think survival was optional. The walls are painted warm colors. The lighting is soft. The prices are fair because Delilah remembers what it means to count every dollar like it's oxygen. She employs 43 people. Every single one of them has been through something. Every single one of them carries a story that the world decided wasn't worth listening to. A woman who escaped an abusive situation. A man struggling with addiction who needed a second chance. A teenager aging out of foster care with nowhere to go. A single father working his way back from prison. Delilah gave them all jobs. She gave them all dignity. She gave them all the thing that saved her. Someone who saw them. Eli comes through the kitchen door. He's 11 now. Tall. Healthy. His heart is strong. The doctors say he'll have a normal lifespan. A normal life. He helps her prepare for the lunch rush even though he doesn't have to. He works here after school sometimes because he remembers. He remembers his sister working 3 jobs. He remembers the darkness. He remembers the bread softened with water. He remembers the moment his mother cried silently, so he wouldn't hear her breaking. Mom, Eli says. He calls her mom now, not Delilah. Did you see the news? She hasn't. She's been too busy running the restaurant, too busy helping the staff, too busy being the person she never thought she'd become. Someone who matters. Someone whose decisions change lives. What news, baby? They found him, Eli says. The guy who's been leaving anonymous donations all over the city. The newspapers are calling him the Ghost Angel. He's donated over $50 million to hospitals, shelters, schools, and poor neighborhoods. Nobody knows who he is. Delilah stops moving. She thinks about the card, the clinic visit, the way surgery happened without explanation, the way the restaurant became hers without anyone asking questions, the way her life shifted on a single night when a man in a black suit stepped out of the rain. She knows who the Ghost Angel is. She's always known. She doesn't have proof. She has something better. She has memory. She has the understanding that comes from being saved by someone who didn't need anything in return except to see you become whole. That night, she closes the restaurant early. It's a Tuesday. She takes Eli to the park where she used to cry beneath the stars. They sit on the same bench. The same stream runs with paper boats and the laughter of children who survived. She looks up at the sky. Thank you, she whispers. Not to God this time. To him. To Lorenzo. To the man who learned that power means nothing unless you use it to pull someone back from drowning. What are you thanking? Eli asks. The universe, she says. For second chances. For people who see us when we're invisible. For the fact that even the most broken people can become the most kind. Eli leans his head on her shoulder. His heart beats strong and steady. The heart that was supposed to stop. The heart that became strong because someone chose compassion over fear. In a small apartment in a city on the other side of the world, Lorenzo Calvetti sits by a window watching rain fall on unfamiliar streets. He reads the news about the Ghost Angel. He smiles. He thinks about a woman's face under the stars. He thinks about a boy who gets to become a man. He thinks about 43 people working in a restaurant that exists because power finally learned to be kind. His phone buzzes. A message from Chun, his investigator. The final shelter in the designated areas is complete. All 52 locations are operational. The foundation is now fully established. The money will continue to distribute automatically for the next 100 years. He deletes the message. He doesn't need to track his generosity anymore. Generosity without witness is the only kind that matters. He closes his eyes, and he remembers the moment he stepped out of the rain and saw her kneel beside a dying child with bread she had saved. He remembers the moment he understood that power was only valuable when it served something bigger than itself. He remembers becoming human. And in that moment, in that small apartment on the other side of the world, Lorenzo Calvetti finally understands what redemption actually means. It's not about being forgiven for what you've done. It's about being transformed by what you choose to do next. It's about a feared mafia boss who followed a shy waitress home and discovered that the only thing worth having is the capacity to save someone else. It's about second chances. It's about invisible angels. It's about grace finding a home in the most unexpected place, in the heart of a man who thought his heart had calcified into stone. It's about the moment power finally learns to love. What did you think about Lorenzo's journey? Is redemption truly possible for someone like him? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. This story is based on the idea that change is always possible if we choose to see others. Share this with someone who needs to believe that. Subscribe to this channel and turn on those notifications because we have more life-changing stories coming your way. Thank you for watching. Thank you for believing that humanity is worth saving. We'll see you next time on this channel where stories inspire, touch hearts, and remind us all that we're capable of more than we think.